Hey all, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone uh, who has joined the class and who are interested to join the class. So, just to give a small introduction or a brief introduction about our course, right? So, we are going to target Power BI and PostgreSQL, right? So, when I say Power BI, it's a Power BI business intelligence tool where the data analysts are going to use to understand the data and how can they visualize the data to the management or operational teams, both the things, right? And we are going to target Microsoft BI data analyst PL 300 certified, right? Our goal is to achieve this certification and start applying for the jobs so that we can quickly land into a job, right? Because as I know that many of you are from non-IT background or you want to change your career, right? So whenever we want to change a career, definitely a certification is going to help a lot, right? So our entire course, Power BI course, is structured, curated in a way that it we would be ready for the certification course. It's just like that. We are listening the class and you are again refreshing your class through YouTube recording and then practicing the assignments. Okay. Now, when it comes to our course, we have divided this course into three parts: data warehousing, PostgreSQL, and Power BI, right? We have divided this course into the three parts. And why it is very divided into the three parts, just I want to explain you with a simple diagram. Let me show you this diagram, right? If you see this diagram, data to insights, right? In the current world, almost every business is digitized, right? I hope you will be agreeing with me. There is no business currently which is running manually. I mean, entering the information like transactions, what are happened over a book and they calculating at the evening. No. Even the small coffee shops or small shops in the streets, they are also using a small computerized machine or some billing machine, right? That is going to give them a end of the day reports, correct? So with small organizations or small coffee shops to big organizations, right? Everyone is going to digitally. There is a lot of data is being generated, billions of records. Now, I think it's beyond billions of records, right? Now, earlier, this is becoming like a problematic task for all the companies, how to maintain that data, because they have seen it as a like a record management. Okay, I have this much of transactional information or this much of employees information. They use it to maintain that one. But later on, like data warehousing concepts has came, right? And they have given a suggestion how we can organize this data and use this data for the business growth. Not about business growth, for sustaining the business in the market, right? So we are going to have a data factory. Data factory means it's not something a different one. Our existing business, if it is a Walmart, if it is a medical store, or if it is a something electronics company, right? A manufacturing company, whatever the day-to-day activities being happened, everything is being captured. A employee entering into the office, an employee leaving to the office, these are also captured as a part of in time and out time. Now HR department want to see how the employee is, what is the employee's attendance trend, how they are coming, all these things, and how can they increase the productivity of employees, right? With all these things, we have the data factory. That means where data is generating. And our Power BI is going to use it to visualize that particular data, right? If you remember, if you just think of it in a simple language, you have a table that is having 100 or 10,000 records. or 100K records, right? By seeing that table, it is hard to understand how our business is going. But if you present that one in a simple line chart or bar chart, right, in a charts, then our mind can quickly understand, okay, how things are going on. Now, our job as a Power BI data analyst is going to make sure that keeping this entire data in a nice visualization form. That is what we are going to learn as a part of our Power BI and PostgreSQL journey, right? And that is the reason you have this one is a very bigger picture because you have the lot of data, whereas our Power BI is going to simplify it and get it into the visualization part, right? Any doubts or queries you can put if you have any doubts in the WhatsApp channel. Sorry, in the Teams, in the Zoom meeting chat. Okay, so that it will easy. Will the class be at the same time from Tuesday to Saturday IST? Yes, you're right. Okay, so we know that our objective is converting the data into the nice visualization. And for that, we are going to use Power BI. Within the Power BI, we have artificial intelligence tools also. We are going to touch base them also because nowadays, if you are seeing like a DeepSeek, artificial intelligence, right, Gemini, right? Even if you see this PDF file, it is also having a AI assistance. Similarly, in our Power BI, we are also going to have the AI assistance, AI tools, right? We are going to see all of them, right? Now, this is the theoretical part, like how we are seeing our journey. Now, to achieve all these things, what are the tools we have, right? Suppose if you want to construct a house, at different stages, you need to have different tools. Will you agree with me or not? Suppose if you're in a planning that you need to have a charts, a diagram, or some kind of a material that requires you to create the design and everything. Now, when you start building the house, you need to have some construction material, right? Concrete mixtures and all those things. So once you completed your house structure, then for interior, you would be having different kind of paints, and but there are different tools to do all these jobs. Similarly, in our journey to making the data into a visualization, we have different stages are there, right? And if you see here, they are majorly classified into the 4 stages. Operational data, which is about the day-to-day activities that are being captured, right? If it is a HR, human resource system, they capture all the employee activities, their attendance, their absence, their salary things and everything. If it is a sales department, they are going to capture how many products are sold, right? What is the discounts are available, all these things. Similarly, if you see this event hub, some real-time information capturing the weather, temperatures across hourly, daily, all those things, right? So these operational data is the first source for all our data. Operational systems. It can be anything. It can be a database, Cosmos DB, or Excel sheets, everything. And that would be injected through a ETL process. ETL means extract, transform, and load. You extract the data, you transform them as per your requirements, and then load it into the further tables, right? And that is stored in the analytical data storage processing. And we are going to see this one. And these are all different tools that are going to be used. And finally, we are going to make a data modeling and visualization. And we are sitting on the right side, right? Even though we are sitting on the right side, it is very important to understand how the left side things are being work, how left side things work, right? Someone comes and says to you, I mean, in your own job, hey, these are the databases or these are the files that you are going to use for creating your Power BI. Now it's our duty to understand how they are defined and are they fit for purpose. If there is any kind of discrepancies or data quality issues, then we need to raise them to the people who are going to use, I mean, loading this data. We call them as a data engineers, right? And we become as a business in a data analyst. Data engineers works on getting the data prepared and ready for us. We data analyst guys visualize those data to the management, right? So that is the reason, I mean, we defined our course like this, like we understand about the data warehouse concepts, and then we are going to learn a database at the basic level to the extent that is required for our job. And we would be fully involved in the Power BI course. So which means we are not just touching the Power BI, we are touching a left side part of the Power BI. Okay. Any questions or queries till now? Just I'm putting a small pause here, right? And whatever the tools we got, advanced tools, cloud tools, AI tools, anything, right? But the underlying fundamentals are not going to change. I can take my word, you can take my word, and honestly, I'm saying, a simple example is Newton laws, right? We all know technology has evolved a lot. We are using rocket science and everything, but the Newton principles, whether first law, second law, or that if we know everyone, right? Every force has equal and opposite reaction. These are not going to change. So that's why in our class, the data warehousing fundamentals is very, very important. I personally feel, and I will say to all my students that boss, if I wake up you at the midnight and ask you a question on data warehouse, that you should be able to answer it in a crystal clear, because these fundamentals are not going to change. You have a good amount of data, operational data on the left side, right? With all these different tools, what we are going to do is just we are organizing them, right? We are rearranging this data so that it can be used effectively for our visualization. Okay. So this data can be a summarized data. We will go into the in detail when we go into the summarize. Okay. So this is what our course, I mean, we are going to learn in the upcoming weeks, right? Now, with these three topics, data warehousing is going to be 10%, PostgreSQL is going to be 30% of classes, and finally, rest of the 60% we are going to touch with the Power BI. Okay, all our classes are recorded in the Zoom, and I would be uploading in the YouTube, and this would be accessible to all the students. Why YouTube means because nowadays in current world we are all very comfortable, like watching videos in the YouTube. So I just want to make sure that suppose you are on the way to your office or in the car, that you can just play those recordings, right? And also you can review those recordings multiple times and start practicing. Yeah. After the class, just within 30 minutes, you would be having your class recording. Along with the class recording, I'm going to provide you an assignment also. Let me show you a sample one. See, so once our class is completed, you are going to get the class recording along with the learning modules that we covered in the class, that I need your help to go through the learning modules again and then complete the assignment that I'm going to give you. You can say it's an assignment or homework, whatever it may be. Okay. So as a part of our course, you are going to have live class. After that, one revision with the help of YouTube and completing the assignments by learning the modules, right? These are the four things that I need your help to be done consistently. Okay. Don't be like that. Okay. On the weekend, I'm going to sit and cover. To be honest, that is not going to work. Uh, have a consistent practice. That's what I would say. Okay. This is all about our course, right? And what we are going to achieve, right? Any questions on this one? So I will go to the certification part and then what are the job opportunities are available. Any doubts or queries with respect to our course and how we are going to cover it? And I'm going to share you all these details. What are the topics that we are going to cover? Like we are going to cover data warehousing concepts, Postgres installations, and how to create the tables, how to chain the data. Similarly, we are going to cover Power BI installation, Power BI queries, pivoting, visualization, and publishing. Publishing means this is about understanding the services. Yes, Sonia, I can see you have raised your hand. Can you post your doubt in the chat channel? So, Rahul, the course is going to be around 3 weeks. Okay. It's costing around $300 US dollars. Okay. I would be sending complete details to your mail ID also. Sonia, what is your question, please? Uh, we would be having very simple coding. I would don't say coding also, okay? Because in SQL, you need to write to structured query language, but that is more or less looks like a English language, okay? And within the Power BI, we are going to maximally drag and drop things. And Power BI writes the backend code for us, okay? We don't need to explicitly write the code, but we need to make sure that we are understanding that code and I'm going to help you how easily you can learn that code. Is it clarifies your question? Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay. Now, with respect to job opportunities, right? For the business analyst or the business or data analyst, right? Both are kind of simply interchangeable. We are having a lot of jobs across the globe. So if you see within the LinkedIn, I just typed Power BI jobs in USA, around 27,000 plus jobs are there. Okay. The job market is very huge. Why? Because is I'm just showing you one simple image. Or normally, since we Power BI mainly do the visualization, so I keep good visualizations or good images. Let me open that one more image to you. Where is that one? Data. Yeah. If you see this one, right? The world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. Right? I strongly believe in this one, right? That is the reason my career path I joined as a junior in the Barclays in 2010. Now I'm a vice president there, right? Because what happened is in my early career, we what is the my job as a data engineer is just to make sure all the data is stored in the data warehouse. That's it. But now that things has become as a real time. It's not like that, okay, end of the day, some batches would be executing and we need to make sure those are completed. No, real time data is going to be synchronized to the data warehouse. And from the data warehouse, there are a lot of reporting or visualization tools are being used to give the business like operational teams or management teams real time data so that they can take a business decisions. right? So a lot of demand is there for the data analyst, right? Because what happening is every business is moving to the digital, and they need a person who can manage their data and visualize those reports, right? And if you see just in the LinkedIn, I'm showing you Power BI developers, right? And what is the details they are going to ask? Just let me scroll down. See, developing and maintaining optimized data models in Power BI that helps various data analysts support design, movement, and migration, right? Ensure data accuracy and reliability within the solution to the data validation and quality checks. So we are going to learn all these things as a part of our course, right? And if you see for a 5 years person, this is the pay range they are going to give, right? So let us go for the entry level. Okay, I just want to make sure at a entry level or associate. See, Power BI dashboard analyst developer. Salary ranges 95,000 to 1,20,000 a year. BA dashboard analyst remote. See, here it is not mentioned. Contract to hire requirement 1 to 3 years. And we are going to touch base all data analysis expression, creating relationships, and familiarize with Power Query tools. We are going to touch base all these things. SQL or Power BI developer, right? So I want to make sure as a part of our course that we are ready with the whatever the situation that comes across in our job. So that is the reason we are including the SQL also. See the pay range. And you can see these are the entry level pay range or associate 59,000 to 110, $101,000. And there are good number of things are there. And many people has a doubt, I need to learn Python or some other tools, right? Well, my simple question is, let's be perfect in the SQL and Power BI. So that is going to definitely make us land in the job. Okay. And also sometimes what happens, students opt for multiple courses and they switch. But be stable, study, right? Pick a course and put full concentration onto it and make sure that we are the subject matter expert for that particular tool, right? And we have a dedicated support channel in the WhatsApp. Let me show you that one also. Power BI support, right? So in this channel, our team is going to post the openings regularly, right? And they are going to guide. And if you see, these are some of the interviews mails, I mean, interview call mails that our students got, right? And there is a good amount of, see, this is the salary they are offering, right? So there are two ways or approaches are there. If you say that, okay, I need a guidance for resume preparation and applying for the jobs, I would be there, okay, to help you. At the same time, if you say, no, hurry, I'm bit busy with my current work, I need a full level of support, then we have a dedicated team sitting in India. Okay. So they are going to take your LinkedIn profile and your resumes. They are going to provide a end-to-end support for you. And that's going to be altogether different thing. But as a hack trainers that we are making sure from training, guidance on the interviews, and also preparation of your CV and applying for the jobs and how to prepare for the interviews. These are all the things we are going to make sure. Okay. Yeah, Rahul, you have another question? Can you post in the channel? Do you have a very good with Excel to be in a Power BI? Hunter, um, having knowledge in Excel is going to help us to quickly learn the Power BI. Okay. Why? Because is Both are Microsoft tools. Also, when you guys are started working on Power BI, you feel that, I mean, if you are already having hands-on with Excel or PowerPoint, then you feel that, okay, these all things I have seen somewhere like that. Okay. And couple of years back, I have given training for Microsoft Office also. I can share you those recordings as a complimentary. Okay, so that particular Microsoft Office, which I use it to do for around $100, I can give you as a complimentary, whoever registered for the Power BI thing. Okay, and it is having a good level of explanation on Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Outlook also. And to be precise, we have the introduction class with the basics of computers. Okay, and this particular course is designed considering that from the basics. Okay, because when I have a discussion with Lakshmi, he clearly told me that the students who are coming to our classes are mainly like non-IT or whoever who want to switch the background, right? So they are, so we need to focus on that one. That's why the course is also designed considering that, okay, the student who is coming, that they are having very limited knowledge on the IT, that we have started from that one. Okay. What certification do you need to provide? Okay. So let me show you. Coming to the certification, as I told you, that we are targeting the certification which we are targeting is, where is the name? Yeah. Power BI Data Analyst Associate. Okay. And this is the code is PL300. And my honest answer is that yes, please, we need to do the certification. The reason because we want to switch the career. So when we say that we are going from non-IT to IT, or when we are switching, how can the recruiter knows? Yes, this guy knows very well in the Microsoft Power BI when we have a certification. Okay. And certification is also not a harder thing if you have because entire our course is prepared in a way focusing on the certifications. 75% of the topics that we require to be learned in the certification for the certification exam, we are covering in our course itself, right? And there is a validity of this certification is 1 year validity is there, like 12 months, and the renewal is also free of cost. Okay, because Microsoft want to make sure that their students, I mean their employees who are having certification, that they are well aware of their topics. So every 12 months it's just like a, they will put a small test again, and we just need to clear it so that our certificate would be renewed, right? And these are all the topics. And the good thing with the certification is we have the practice papers, right? So if you see here, as a Power BI data analyst, you work closely with the business stakeholder to identify business requirement, right? You use Power BI to prepare the data, model data. This is a data modeling. Visualize and analyze data, managing and securing the Power BI. So managing and securing means like how we use the Power BI services and all those things. Okay. So any questions, Helen, with respect to certification? And we have a lot of practice assessment papers also there. And there is a kind of a, I mean, live demo, experience the demo, you can demo it. And once we are consistently scoring above 80% in the practice papers, so then we can go for the main exam. And this certification costs around $165. Okay. You can check what is the cost in your local currency also. And this would be paid directly to the Microsoft. What certification? Helen, any questions with respect to certification? Apurva, you were saying I have done masters in business analyst and wanted to get a job, and that may join this class. Okay, thank you very much. And definitely, Apurva, this is going to help this tool. Okay. And being a business analyst in masters, definitely we are going to touch base. Now it's about, we are going to learn how this tool is going to help make our data visualizations. Okay. Uh, any questions or queries till now? Let me do one thing quickly. Hey all, once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, right? So as we discussed, right, that we are going to cover three major topics, right? One is the data warehousing, and that is followed by PostgreSQL, and the second one is Power BI, right? So as I explained you, the in overall our course, the data warehousing is like 10%, PostgreSQL is 30%, and the Power BI is rest of the 60%. So if you see our 3 weeks course is also distributed accordingly. So first class, we are going to cover data warehousing, followed by a detailed understanding about the PostgreSQL, next 3 classes, right? And from second week, we are going to start with the Power BI classes, okay? Just, uh, yeah. From the second week, we are going to start with the Power BI classes. And in the Power BI, we are going to cover the key topics like DAX, architecture of the Power BI, installation, right? And also we are going to see different visualizations, right? And also we are going to see artificial intelligence visualizations also, right? All those things we are going to cover in our upcoming 3 weeks of the classes. Now, when it comes to the data warehousing concepts, right? Before I just start with this one, I just want to know, I mean, what comes in your mind when you say warehousing?
Storage.
Okay.
Storage and log.
You can post it in the chat channel. Okay. Just what comes in your mind when you see, okay? Yes, storage. Okay. A dump. What else? Storage, logistic. Okay. So let me put it in this way. Instead of a storage thing, okay, what I say is that data warehouse is the place where we organize our products, right? So to maintain, to gain some business profits, I mean, to maintain some business advantage. Say, if you are a manufacturing company, right? You need to manufacture the products on daily basis, right? But at some point of time, the market demand would be very less. And if you sell those products during when demand is low, you may incur some losses. So what you do is all your finished goods, you put it in the warehouse, so that when demand increases and you have the price is high, then you can release into the market. Correct? So we are maintaining, I mean, we are making sure by having a warehouse for both the raw material and the finished goods, we are making sure that our business is not incurring the losses, and the vice versa. We are also getting some profits by supplying our products to the demand. Correct? And also, when we say we are arranging these particular products and everything, we arrange them in an organized way so that we can quickly retrieve the data. Similarly, data warehousing is also a place. Okay, I'm just simply saying it is a place where you keep all the data in a summarized format. Okay, not only summarized, along with the summarized, we also keep a exact copy of our operational things, right? So to give a detailed explanation of this one and for your easy understanding, let me take a simple diagram. Insert picture, online picture, data warehouse. All right. The place where we store the data, I mean, we have the different types. I mean, we can store the data in Excel files, right? We call them as a flat files. And if you, I mean, if you know, we can manage our a small business with the help of Excel sheets. That is the power of Excel sheets. Okay. So let us consider we have a lot of day-to-day transactions, right? Happening. And we are maintaining those on the Excel sheets, or it's a flat files, or there are some IT companies which are providing database services. So what they are saying is, boss, I have this service which I am calling is a database management system, right? Now what you can do is by the help of this service, you can store your data securely and in an organized manner in different tables, right? And within the market, we have different databases like Teradata, Oracle, SQL Server. And if you are expert in one database, then obviously you can easily understand other databases also. No doubt about it, right? So what happen is on a day-to-day basis, whatever the transactions or activities those are happening, first of all, we store them in the operational databases. And we, in a simple terminology, we call it as OLTP. If I expand this one, it says that online transactional processing systems or online transaction processing system, right? So the place where we are capturing our day-to-day transactions, right? All those things are kept in the online transactional processing systems, right? So long back, how it is like that, we would be having one database, right? All the online transactions are going to happen on that one. And also the data analyst, what they do is they will pull this data and they start preparing the reports, correct? Now you have only one laptop or let us say one server or one database. Both the online transactions and the analytical part. Analytical means analysis, right? Just think of it. You have a student list, right? And their marks. Now, if you want to analyze how students are performing, that you need to scan all those data and you need to arrange them in an orderly manner. And then you will come across that, right? So, which means for the analysis part, a huge processing time is happening. Processing is needed to scan the entire database, pull the data and everything, right? Now, at what point of time, what happened is that we are seeing performance issues because the same system is supposed to work for the online systems where a front-end users is going to fill the all the transactions, and there is a person sitting in the administration office who is trying to pull the reports by pulling the entire data, right? And since these parallelly two things are happening, the performance of the system has very badly degraded, right? Now, some great engineers, or we can say scientists, they come across and they said that, okay, boss, let us don't do both the operations on the same system, right? Let us create a warehouse, right? And what the purpose, what it is going to do is just at the end of the business, just take a copy of all your new records, whatever the changes happen. We normally call it as a change data capture, CDC. Say yesterday you have 100 records. Yesterday night we have taken a copy of these 100 records and we are storing them in the raw data At the same time, we are also storing the summarized data, right? Summarized data means, say, I'm going to create one more table that is going to have what are the total sales for each and every day. And I'm keeping that value handy, right? Suppose if you know a particular value that you need to be frequently referred, what we do? We just calculate it and keep it at one place, correct? Same thing with respect to summarized data. Similarly, today another 50 records are added. So today evening, the 50 records are copied and they have put it into the raw data, right? So this warehouse is going to act like a place where we can store the raw data and the summarized data and also metadata. Metadata means information about what kind of data you are storing, right? Uh, when you go to the regulatories, right? The government agencies, they form some rules and policies. Okay, you can store only this kind of information from the customer. Also, you need to provide as a report for what purpose the information you stored, customer data you stored is being used, right? So that kind of information is stored in the metadatas, right? So by splitting the analytical part and transactional part into two different systems, we are making sure that they are working effectively and we are also getting a kind of a data stored in separately, right? And this warehouse part that is being used for analysis, we call it as OLAP, online analytical processing. And trust me, these things are not going to change. Whatever the tools we are using, whatever the things we are going to, I mean, technologies we are going to use. Our ultimate goal is take a copy of data, put it in the warehouse, and summarize it like day wise, month wise, year wise, and use that data for the analysis purpose, reporting, data mining, right? And if you see, there are two terminologies here, data warehouse and data mart. And data mart is nothing but it is also a warehouse, just a subset of the data warehouse. Suppose within the organization, we would be creating data warehouse for sales department, marketing department, or a manufacturing department, right? Now, what we are going to do, we are going to create a subset of these data warehouse so that a marketing department or sales department will focus on the sales data. A inventory department is going to focus on the inventory data, right? So if you see, we are going to use a warehouse to maintain historical data and for analytical purpose or analysis purpose, and to separate the operational things with the analytical things, right? So that business can use this particular entire data as an asset instead of it as a kind of maintenance burden. No, it is going to be asset for us. And in the market, whoever handling their data effectively, they are definitely seeing the fruits, profits. Okay. Any questions or doubts with respect to data warehousing? What is the purpose of data warehouse? Trust me, this thing I learned in 2010, and still, whatever we are doing, the underlying fundamental or principle is the same thing, it is continuing. If you say the machine learning, if you say AI, all of them, what they do is they will take a copy of operational data, store it into the another system, and then analyze that data. Okay. We also call this as ETL, extract the data, transform into summarized form, and then load it into it. Okay. metadata and raw data. Okay. Now, whenever we say the raw data, right? Raw data is a simple, a direct like-to-like copy of our operational store. Okay. So I will take an example. Today we have a requirement. Yes, I want to see my sales report daily. Okay. So I want to see a summarized day sales. What is the end of the day? Then I create a summarized data. Okay. Based on the product type, a particular product, right? Now in this one summarized data, I'm going to have a table that tells his product name and its end of day sales. Okay. This is how it looks. After 6 months, right, I got a new requirement stating that, boss, along with the product name, not about the product name, I want to see the data end of the sales by product category and end of the day sales. So we got a new requirement from the business that they want to know a day-to-day, day-wise sales of product category, right? So how we can achieve this one? We have a raw data copy with us. So we can run a summarized view on this one and we can get the product category wise end of the day sales, right? So a raw data is a completely a like to like copy. Also in the future, if a regulatories came and ask, hey, I want to see all your customer activities performed over a period of time, right? Then we are going to use this raw data. Whereas in operational systems, we don't maintain the history. Suppose you as a customer of a bank, right? Today you would be living in one address, right? After 2 years, you have changed your address. Again, another after 1 year, you changed your address, right? In the operational systems, what they do is they try to keep only the latest 2 or 3 addresses. Say your current address and what is your previous 2 addresses. But in warehouses, suppose a customer is there in the bank for 10 years. We maintain complete history of the 10 years. Within the 10 years, if you change your address 5 to 6 times, all those address would be available in the raw data. Okay. Similarly, what kind of information you are keeping in the warehouse? Say you are having customer table, sales table. What are all the columns those you are capturing in the customer table? Is it customer ID, name, customer's SSN number, social security number, customer date of birth, customer salary, or customer yearly income? So what kind of information you are storing, that level of information we would be storing in the metadatas. And to be honest, again, all these are databases only. This is also databases. But the way, what kind of information we are storing, the naming nature changes. Okay. Is it clear, Jaya Chuklingam? Can we call data warehouse a structured form of data sources? Obviously, data warehouse is a purely structured form. The reason because from different sources we are getting that, we are cleaning it and storing it. Okay. You have unstructured, semi-structured are there, but within the data warehouse, you would be having a structured data. And this warehouse become as a structured source for our Power BI, analyticals, and everything. Okay. And just to come a theoretical part, whatever we have seen, right? And Amazon provides a data warehouse, a central repository for information that can be analyzed to make more informed decisions. Data flows into data warehouse from transactional systems, relational database, and other sources. Business analysts, data engineers, data scientists, and decision makers. See, if you see, these are all the people who are going to access through business intelligence tools. That means our Power BI tools or SQL client, client tools, and other analyticals. Data and analyticals have become indispensable to business to stay competitive, right? So that is the reason we included the Postgres SQL also. Because even though we do analytics, we should have a good understanding about our data. Okay. If you know your data well, your half of the job is done as a Power BI developer. And I can 100% confidently say this one. And that's what I say whenever you land into a job and you got a task, first try to understand how your data is organized. And if you have any doubts, just clarify with the data engineers or ETL teams, right? Business users rely on reports, dashboard, and analytical tools. Okay. So these articles that I am going to share you, right? They are the best one. You just need to go through these articles and be comfortable with all these things, right? What are the difference between warehouse? I mean, what are the benefits of using warehouse? Informed decision making, consolidated data from many sources. If you see here, consolidated data. There would be a system where HR activities would be captured. There would be a system where manufacturing operations activity would be captured. Now, all those systems we are going to put at one place. Data quality, consistency, accuracy. So the data engineer's responsibility when they are getting this data from different sources to the data warehouse, that the quality is maintained, data is consistently captured. Suppose if you're getting the data daily, yes, we need to make sure all the days of data is there. There should not be a break or miss of data for any particular day. Accuracy. Separation of analytical processing from transactional data, which improves performance of both the systems. Right? So these are the benefits of data warehousing. And if you see, there are warehouse, database, and data lake. Okay, there is an interesting thing here. I will touch base on this topic and I will go. Within the warehouse, we know, right, what kind of things we are going to keep, and it's a pretty organized one. So that is the reason data warehouse are structured one. Similarly, databases, where we used to capture the transactional information, but again, within the data warehouse, we use the databases. Now, when it comes to the data lakes, we know the lakes, right? In general, the lakes like river bodies where water continuously flows. In those lakes, not just water, you would be having different other natural things, right? So it's a lakes is a semi-structured, or we can also say unstructured also in some cases. And now we got the cloud. Now the latest buzzing word is the cloud, where we can store anything. Now, when it comes to the structured means, you would be having proper tables, rows and columns, and data is loaded into it, right? When we say semi-structured, along with the tables, you are going to have the files, images, or some kind of a data. Those are like semi-structured. And unstructured means anything that can be having. Okay. And this particular article page that I'm going to share you as a part of our learning modules. And I need your help to go through it. Okay. Any doubts or questions with the data warehousing concept, fundamentals of data warehousing? You can post it in the chat channel. And to be honest, we should be very crystal clear on this one, why we are doing this one. Okay. And now W.H. Inman and Ralph Kimball. They are the two great scientists who has proposed the data warehousing theories. Okay. And what they have proposed, let us see. And to be honest, this is proposed at around 1986 or around like that. And still the organizations are following the same thing. Okay. The tools they are using may be different, but the underlying concepts is never changed. Right. Now, if you see Kimball, approach of designer data warehousing was introduced by Ralph Kimball. This approach starts recognizing the business processing and questions data warehouse to answer. So what Kimball has said is that when you take an organization, within the organization, we are going to have different departments: HR department, finance department, sales department, right? And the inventory department. Now, what Kimball has suggested was go to each and every department, understand their business model, and build a warehouse for them. Or we call it as a data mart, like this, right? Now, we have different source systems. Now, Kimball has said that sit with the HR department, build their data mart. Similarly, for the finance department, build their department data mart, right? So if you know the Scrum, I mean, whoever has a learned Scrum, right? What it says that if you have a bigger task, just break it into the actionable items and then deliver them, correct? Now, Kimball has suggested this one. Take each and every department, analyze that one, create the data mart for it, and then integrate all these data mart as a warehouse at the enterprise level. So on this top of this warehouse, we can pull the reporting, business intelligence, Power BI, whatever it may be, right? So what is the benefits of Kimball is that, okay, initial cost would be very less because we are not starting with entire organization. We are starting with one particular department. And if the department has shown successful, then we will be implementing those further to the departments. Correct? And we will get this integrated into the one warehouse. Whereas in Mon, what Inmon's approach is that boss don't go to the each and individual departments. Just get all the source systems and create a data warehouse at the enterprise level. Do you know what it means by enterprise level? Anyone? Just want to know what it means by enterprise level? Yes, all departments or at the organization top level. Normally, at organization level, we call it as enterprise. Okay. Now, what Inmon says is that let us build the data warehouse, get all the source systems within an organization. The data is being collected by 10 systems or 10 departments. Get a copy of all those systems and build a warehouse. And then give a copy for each and individual department in the form of data marts so that they can build their own reporting purpose, right? So the initial cost is going to be very huge because we need to get entire organization at one part, and a specialized skill is needed to understand the relation between each and every departments. Okay, so that we can be using. So why we need ETL at every stage? I would put it this way, Jaya, not at every stage. ETL is going to extract the data. This one, right? You are talking about. So whenever you want to create a copy of data mart, you need to apply some filters. Okay. And that would be done by ETL, extract, transform, load. So while creating this subset, you are going to just pull, suppose if this is for the sales, you will add a filter, only sales data should be visible. Okay. Why? Because I will just give a simple a classical example of HR. When you see the employees data, An employee is going to have his name, contact details, especially his salary, bonus, and everything would be there, right? At an organization level, a basic contact information can be exposed because individual employees want to know, okay, a person is there and what is his contact email ID or phone number to reach him, correct? But when it comes to his salary or incentives, they are supposed to be visible only to the HR department, correct? So in that way, if we create a data mart for HR department, then we will apply the filters accordingly so that HR department can see the level of salaries and everything so that they can calculate their salaries and everything. Okay. Now, after this explanation, can you tell me which one is the best? What's your thought process? In one, huge amount of efforts and cost is initially needed, but later on the maintenance it is easy. Okay. First one, Kimball. Okay. Who are going to support Inmon? I got two votes for the Kimball approach. Okay, more for the Kimball approach. Okay, I got one vote for Kumar. Okay, let me put my thoughts. Okay, what I feel is that both are successful. That is the reason after decades we are learning both of them. The reason because they have their advantages and disadvantages. So it's about suppose if your organization has the capability to build the Inmon and they want to make sure the things kept at one place, then they go on the Inmon. In our organization, we are following the Inmon approach. We are creating an enterprise data warehouse where we are getting data from almost 70 source systems. Because you know, right, bank is a very bigger one. So it has having data across 70 source systems and we are getting that everything at one place. On top of it, we are building the visualizations and reports, right? So let us see some comparatively both of them. And normally, I mean, from my childhood, I feel it's very easy if I have the comparison table, so I can quickly learn and keep it to my heart, right? So if you see, introduced by Ralph Kimball and Bill Inmon, correct? If you see the approach, it has a bottom-up approach for implementation, right? Bottom-up approach means we would be starting from each and every department at the bottom and slowly we will club them at the enterprise level, correct? So bottom up approach. Whereas Inmons is a top down approach. We build our data warehouse at the enterprise level, getting everything. And then we will say, okay, boss, for your department, what are the tables or needed? Just take a copy of them. Data integration, it focus on individual business areas, right? If you see here, it focus on individual business areas. Whereas Inmon focus on enterprise wide areas. So we will get everything at one place. Building time, it is efficient and takes less time. Obviously, I am going to work with one department, get it completed. It is complex and consumes a lot of time. Correct. Cost wise, it is a iterative step and is cost effective. Initial cost is use and the development cost is low. See here, just I want to you all to capture, I mean, point stressing this point. The reason because initial cost is use because we need to get everyone at one place, but the development cost is low because we have finalized our plan and everything is one place, and even we are going to remove the data redundancies, right? It does not need such a skill, but a generic team will do the job. It needs a specialized skill to make work. And if you see here, the maintenance is difficult. So this is the minus point for the Kimball, right? The maintenance is difficult. Why? Because just think of it. You have 10 departments. In all the 10 departments, they are creating their own data marts. Each department would be having an employee table. Each department is going to have a sales table, correct? Now, when you try to get all this together, then you are going to see multiple similar tables, and integrating or maintaining that many things would be difficult. Whereas when it's a Inmon, what we do is, since we are getting all the source system at one place, we create a single table for customers. We create a single table for inventory or single table for employees. Now a copy of this table would be taken, or a view. Okay. View means it's a kind of a virtual table. Physically it won't exist, but that view will referring to the physical table we are going to learn in our PostgreSQL, right? So that is the reason the maintenance of the Inmon architecture is easy, right? It prefers data to be denormalized. It prefers data to be it prefers data to be normalized. Now, what it mean by denormalize and normalize? Did anyone heard about? Have you heard about these words? Okay, so I created a small table to explain this scenario. Let me open that one. Right? Are you seeing this table? So if you see this table is having a sales data with the transactions and what are the products we purchased and what is the customer details, right? Suppose when you go to the shop, when you purchase anything, right? They will ask us, can you provide your phone number, address, right? And blah, blah, blah. Multiple things they are going to ask us. And when you are keeping all those things at one place in a single table, now as a customer, Harish, if I'm a regular visitor for that particular store, and if I am purchasing frequently, say consider it's a grocery store. In a week, I go 4 times. No, 4 times, but 2 times. That means in a month, it is going to 8 times. Similarly, in that particular area, there would be a customers like me who regularly visits. Now, every time I am visiting, they are going to capture my data, complete data, right? So when we are storing our data in a single table, a detailed data, then we called a denormalized form. Now, what is the problem with this one? First of all, we see what is the advantage. The advantage is whenever a customer comes and asks you, hey, I want to see about particular details, we can quickly retrieve, very fastly, we can retrieve the data. But the disadvantage is we as an organization are going to store the repeated data or redundant information. Now you all know, right? The hard disks and everything, they comes with a cost. Now, if you are storing a customer details repeatedly, that means you are storing the information that is not really value, but we are supposed to pay for the hard disks, right? Similarly, consider if it is a metro city where you are going to have 100 customers, correct? So to handle this scenario, what we introduce a normalized form. Now in the normalized form, what it will do is it will create a separate tables for the information those are going to be repeatedly used. Suppose if you know a customer is going to come repeatedly, let us have a customer table, right? Similarly, if you see here, you are going to use the products, right? If you see here, I'm going to purchase chocolates. Like me, there would be different customers going to purchase chocolates. So every time if I'm going to write chocolates, it's going to be take more space. So I'm going to create a customer table and I'm going to create a product table separately, right? And whenever there is a transaction happen, instead of storing a complete information about it, I'm going to store the unique identification number of those particular products. Suppose if I need to address in the address table, I have the information. Now here what I'm going to store is I'm storing the reference value of the address. Now what happened in a sales table, the address ID is 1. Then I'm going to hit the address table, customer address table, and I will get the full address details, right? The, the process of storing data into multiple tables in an organized way and having the relationship between these tables is called a normalized form. And what is the benefit we are going to achieve? See here, instead of storing entire data that requires say some 30 to 40 bytes, a simple 1 byte or 2 bytes of data, I mean space is going to be stored, right? So we are exponentially reducing the data usage, and this is called normalization, right? And all our data warehousings are follows the normalization approach. What we do is we will split the data into multiple data tables so that we are not storing the redundant data. Okay, because we need to maintain the history, not just the active records. That means there may be chances of lot of redundant data coming. So with the help of normalization, we are going to solve this problem, right? And these table where we are going to have a detailed information, we call them as a dimension tables, right? And the center table, which is going to store the actual transactions and the reference details, they are called as fact tables, right? And if I show you this in a pictorial way, even this is followed in our Power BI also. Let me show you that one. Where I'm going to share you all these articles, okay? Many people think the data warehouse is an older one, but if you see what Power BI says, let me show you. See, star schema is a mature model approach widely adopted by relational data warehouse. It requires models to classify model tables, either dimensions or facts, right? If you see this diagram, let me come back to here. So we have a sales table, right? Where is the sales table in our example? Here is the sales table that is going to be having the transactions and the unique identifier of the product's customer address. And these are going to refer the product table, employee table, whatever it may be. And the center one, we call it as a fact table. And the surrounded supporting tables, we call it as a dimension tables. It's like that you are storing all your details in a room, and the key for that room is would be stored in the fact table. Even we come across the primary key and foreign key concepts, I'm going to give a detailed explanation, right? And this is a one other important topic here itself. See, Power BI similar to model depends on Power Query imports connect data, right? That means you use Power Query, not this one. Ha, the data warehouse. See, when you are presenting with these challenges, we recommend you first develop a data warehouse and extract transform load, process periodic load. Your semantic model can be connected to the data warehouse, right? The dimension model, data model, everything comes here. I just want to show you one simple thing. Yeah. Dimension table describe the business entities, things like products, people, places, right? If you see in this particular example, we are defining what is my product table, what is my customer table. We define the entities. Fact table stores observations or events. That means events means a transaction has happened. That is an event. A purchase has done. That is an event. Or we are capturing the temperatures. That is an observations. Right? A fact table contains dimension key column that relates to dimension table and numeric measure columns. Right? And since this particular relation looks like a star, we call it as a star schema. Okay, so there is a detailed explanation is also given, and I need your support to read this article, right? Similarly, if this particular dimension table again referring to another dimension table, right? So let me take this example. In the customer address table, right? When you are collecting the customer details, right? The city name and state name is going to be repeated, correct? Because within the state, you would be having 1 million population or 100K population based on the state size. So instead of every time repeating the city name and state name, we can have another dimension table where we are going to have storing the city details. Now we are going to repeat city Texas once. Now I'm going to use this unique identifier here, right? Now if you see this particular parent, child, grandchild, right? So whenever I hit this particular table to get the details of a customer transaction, so what it does is it will refer the address ID and it will again connects to the address table and pulls the address of this one. And again, when it comes to the city ID, it will be referring to the city table. Okay. The a disadvantage I can say, not a disadvantage that I mean the mm, advantage of denormalize is if you see here, whenever you are querying a data, I mean, whenever you require a data to be pulled in the normalized form, it should be referring to multiple tables. So, which means the response time increases. Okay. So that is the reason in the operational systems, we go with the denormalized form because in operational systems, it's like that a customer comes and he would be waiting in front of your desk. Hey, this is my customer ID. Now I want to verify my details, right? So within the huge data, they just looking for a small one record. So wherever your requirement is like that you will get more single requests, single record or small number of records. Denormalization is the best one. But wherever you do the analytical analysis, data analysis on an entire system, go for the normalized form. Okay. And wherever you have this kind of multi-relation, we call them as snowflake schema. Okay. When you have a multi-level relation, it is called as snowflakes. Okay. So that is one thing. Are we clear with the normalization and denormalization concept? And our entire, not our, whether you are a data engineer, data analyst, business analyst, Power BI developer, these concepts we should be in a cluster clear. Okay, I'm happy to repeat this particular topic again and again, right? Because these are like a Newton laws. They never change. and we follow them. You would be having billions of data in the operational system. We get that into the analytical or data warehousing systems, and we arrange them in a normalized form to effectively store the data and analyze on it. Okay. And this fact table and dimension table are very important. Are there specific vendors for the data warehousing? See, Snowflake and Star Schema is a concept. Okay. It's not a service. So as a data engineer, right? When you are hydrating your data into the data warehouse, you can decide which schema you want to follow. And both schemas are being widely used like Lark, Kimball and Enmore, right? So what are the things we covered? Introduction, OLAP, WH Enmore, Kimball, data warehousing, Star and Snowflake schema, normalized dimensions and fact tables we have seen, right? Guys, and I also going to share you these articles that we have gone through during the class, right? I need your support to do a refresh of all these articles. Okay. And whatever the topic that we are going to cover in today's class, definitely 40% we are going to come across in the next class. Okay. So it is very important that you are doing a review of the class. Many students ask, hey, with this 3 weeks course, am I going to land in the job? But definitely we are going to get the level of knowledge that helps us to crack the interview, provided that you are dedicatedly be part of the class and also you are doing your homework. We'll go very slow and steady. We are going to touch each and every basic topic to the intermediate level, right? Many people directly land into the Power BI. They say that, okay, these are the Power BI tool, just drag and drop some visualizations and apply the data. Okay. I mean, it looks easy, but when we really land into any trouble or any blocker, there we face the real challenge. And if you know more about your data, then you can easily clear the blockers. Okay. The success of our Power BI developer role is going to be mainly 50% depend upon how effectively we are understanding our data. That is the reason I have kept this data warehousing concepts as a first class. Because in every field, without the fundamentals, we are not going to excel, right? Whatever the field you take, it's very important that we are learning the fundamental concepts. What are the policies we need to follow? And that is where we are going to touch base all these things, right? And in upcoming classes, we will see how data would be arranged in the databases. Because as a Power BI developer, definitely we would be come across to work with the databases, right? Any questions or queries? Okay, let me pause the class once and open for the students.